Hey guys, I wanted to make a short video today, a little worried about it, but hopefully it goes okay, of how Austin helps me walk in gravel. Gravel is sometimes safe if it's really packed down, and then other times, like today, when it's fresh gravel, it's a lot more hazardous for me. So I've already got my hand on the counterbalance strap. The walk down here was pretty hard. He guided me towards the side of the road more so than letting me walk down the middle of the road where the gravel was deeper. I actually fell on this road a week ago because of the gravel shifting. So gravel is a difficult thing to walk on with CRPS in your legs because it's like walking on a bunch of marbles. It shifts every time you step on it, and especially when they put down fresh gravel, it's a lot deeper than normal. So every step, gravel slides around. And it's pretty big chunks, it's sharp, and it makes my legs wobble more. So I'm holding on to Austin's counterbalance strap, and then I also listen to where he tells me to go. So right now he's guiding me over to the side of the road because it's not as deep as the other part of the road. But there is still gravel. The side of the road is bad in its own right. It's not deep gravel, but it's packed ground with a thin scattered layer of the big gravel on top. And that means it's more like walking on, like going through your house and suddenly stepping on one marble. So as he's walking, he's in a heel position. And as I walk, occasionally I bump into his shoulder, and he just keeps walking forward. That keeps me going forward, and it keeps me from falling over to the left. That was a real stumble there, and you saw his reaction. He just stopped and waited for me to get my balance. My legs shifted out from underneath me, trying to stabilize myself. But him being there and him standing steady also helped keep me upright. Every time I'm walking, my feet are sometimes twisting to the side, sometimes they're wobbling around on a rock, so I'll hit a rock and then I'll feel my heel go side to side. Sometimes I step too far inward and I feel my foot start to break over to the left. And the counterbalance strap is helping here because this is what safer gravel looks like. It's packed down. You still have the occasional rock that you can slide on, but it's a lot safer. Up ahead is fresher. So that also helps me know when I need to grab hold of my dog and when I can usually walk by myself. But I also have to be careful of big washout areas here where the waters come through and scraped away the rocks to make little ditches. So the counterbalance strap works because sometimes the gravel makes me slide backwards. And when I'm holding onto the strap, if I slide backwards, I don't fall backwards because Austin's forward momentum keeps me upright. Every time I'm pulling on this harness, he knows I'm in trouble, and he knows to just keep moving forward and leaning his chest into the harness because that's how I trained him. The only time he stops is if I do start to fall. He is trained to notice the signs, and that's when he stops to help me stabilize and get my balance. Last week when I fell sideways. And I fell really fast. I was walking on a higher part of the gravel. He tried to tell me to go to the side, but I missed his cue. And I ended up sliding downhill sideways, cheese grating myself on the gravel. But he still stopped me in his own way. As I fell, my instinct was to put my left hand on his shoulders to brace, which I did. When I opened my eyes, I was sitting with my legs out to the side, but my left hand was still on his shoulders, and he was standing over me, and he had used his body. I think my chest kind of bumped into his chest, and he used his body to help stop me from going all the way down. And he stayed standing over me perfectly still until it was time to get me up. I don't always hold on to him when I take walks on gravel, but today I knew it was going to be bad because I knew this fresh gravel was still here. We had flash flooding recently that rearranged a lot of stuff, and I fell last week, so I'm still recovering from that, so my legs are a little bit weaker than normal. When I start to tip a little to the right, same deal, the harness handle pulls me back to center, and we keep moving forward. But it's a pretty stressful experience. I am walking on a floor of really sharp marbles, and it's like a weird mixture between, sometimes it's flat ground, and in the more center parts of the road there, it feels more like walking in deep sand that's made of marbles. And when you fall on them, really sharp marbles. So what my body's having to do to stay upright right now is my muscles are having to work a lot harder than normal. They're making a lot of tiny micro adjustments because every time I step down, my entire leg is wobbling because it's on such an unstable surface. So I have to hold on to his harness to maintain safety. Now here, you can see the gravel's a lot different. It's packed in. It's not giant rocks. And my steps are a lot more even. My feet aren't constantly shaking. My feet aren't landing weird. I'm able to walk more normally like I would on a dirt road or flat ground like blacktop. So here, I don't need his help as much, but I'm still going to keep holding on to him because I can tell my legs are really weak from walking on that. The burning pain has increased, and I can feel tremors starting. They're not too bad yet, but I do need to try and focus and get home. And holding on to him now is less about, I'm not expecting there to be a problem, but holding on to him now is a safety, is a backup safety. So on the gravel was real time, very precarious walking for me, where there was a very, very high chance of me falling. At the end of the walk, the gravel's a lot less of a problem, more like normal surface for me. The chances of me falling now are lower, but they're not zero because my legs are extremely weak from that workout. So it's important for me, even though I can feel the pain moving up my legs and it's getting intense. But even though I don't necessarily feel like I'm about to collapse, I know from experience that it's better to hold on to him and keep him close and keep him ready than to take a chance and let go. So that's a bit about how he helps me on gravel, and that's not an everyday thing. Like, we walk on gravel quite a lot, but it's not a problem every day. The only time gravel is really a problem is when after it floods, when the rocks get moved around, if I'm on new roads where I'm not used to the terrain, or when they put down fresh gravel. I'm also wearing I'm wearing pretty intense lace-up boots that have a mean tread on the bottom. Go boy, let's go. Those help grip the ground better than sneakers. They also kind of act like ankle braces to help protect my ankles and strengthen my legs a little bit more than sneakers would in this situation. But they're not perfect. Like I said, I fell down in these last week. They don't solve every problem, but working with Austin, wearing these shoes on gravel keeps me a lot safer than wearing any other type of footwear, and trying to go without his help. Normally, if the road is just normal conditions, I only call him in for help when I'm starting to feel wobbly or stumbly or a little bit weaker or my pain increased. But I do always wear these shoes on gravel just because it is safer. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about counterbalance help or CRPS, write it in the comments. Good boy, Austin. Update, now that we've gotten home. If I don't lock my legs, this is what my legs are doing. They're shaking. Those are leg tremors. That's from the effort of walking. And it feels like my feet are on hot coals and like my up to my knees are stuck in hot water. So I'm going to keep walking. I'm going to hold on to Austin because I can feel these still happening. And I'm starting to cross my track more, which is a sign that my legs are rapidly reaching the point where they want to just give out. So walking on gravel definitely takes its toll. It's definitely hard. I keep doing it because it is a leg workout of sorts. I just have to take necessary safety precautions when I do it. And where we live, there's not much of a choice.